Hello, 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 and welcome to Divine Thoth with me, Mark. Here to get you some messages from the universe today. Now, I came with a certain feeling or message today from the universe, and it goes along the lines of a cosmic heart blossoming that you're experiencing and an angelic awakening. I have Angelic on here, I have some green fluorite for the heart, and for angelic frequencies, it's a rainbow prism on here when it shines in the sun. And so I had a feeling of that heart blossoming, of your heart opening up more in compassion than even you realized before. And it can be a little uncomfortable sometimes. When the heart cracks open, it's not always a comfortable feeling, as is any growth. But then when it opens, there is golden light, there is a sense of peace and bliss and just this big open heart, which is a beautiful gift to share to the world. As vulnerable as flowers are, they are incredibly beautiful. They're one of the most incredible, awe-inspiring things we have on this earth, and they have a kind of consciousness of their own. This talks about In a New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. But flowers have kind of not much of a utilitarian purpose, not for us anyway. If you're bees, then maybe, and to help pollinate things like this, but within themselves, flowers are almost aesthetic in nature, but they bring such beauty and joy, and they are just a marvel of creation of the universe and nature. And if you don't buy yourself flowers every week, or for your household, or for whoever you feel, especially for yourself, but maybe for you and the people around you, then I suggest to start doing it, because you're setting out an intention to the universe and an intention to yourself that you are worthy your flowers and that life is beautiful. And even better than just buying the flowers as a reminder is embodying being that graceful, beautiful flower, this miracle of life that is not based on your purpose even, or in a lower sense your utility. The value is inherent in who you are and your beauty being on this earth and blossoming and blooming. And so all of that drew me to take some messages from Lady Nada. The big heart expansion here, expanded heart, openness, liberation, let yourself love and be loved. It's the theme of today's reading. Just quite beautiful, believed to be the ascended as such, or higher realms version of Mary Magdalene, which you can see connected to Jesus or Yeshua or Christ consciousness. I think he's called Sananda as well. Like, the point in here is that kind of higher version of a divine union, or Christ consciousness in a way. And Lady Nada kind of, well, I would say embodies that, but maybe embodies not the right word. In a light sense and a higher sense is a representation of that for us to understand here on this plane. I didn't have any pink on me today, but I do have some red carnelian on gold, like a blossoming or blooming through. I was also drawn to Mani today, the moon god from Norse mythology, and a sense of healing, and he helps heal mental illness, and he helps guide in the darkness. A very caring spirit is Mani, the moon god. And he also has two horses or wolves that drive his chariot. I think they are two horses, and he has two companions, and he holds the wolf at bay. And in Ragnarok, the wolf consumes him, consumes the moon. Pretty much everything is consumed in Ragnarok, but he brings that sense of help and healing. And the runes that I was drawn to today, so there's not really a rune for Mani, but they gave me a sense of Manaz, and I doubled up on that. My lovely, these drawings were clearer earlier, trust me. But it says a sense of humanity, and it's a humanity and a kindness. It's a double Winya rune, so double joy. It's that connected joy between us. And we can take that from the internal and the external, but we can connect it together within ourselves and out to others. And before that, I was also just drawn to the runes of Awaz, so the horse rune, partnership on this earth, and joint kind of drive. They're meant to be horse ears, but they're bunny ears, or they might even not look like ears, but it was just kind of like adding to the rune a little bit of earthly cuteness, if you want to call it that. And also Raidho, which is drive, which is kind of related to the Chariot card, which is that movement. And also the Chariot card is Cancer, related to Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. So there's kind of moon themes in there, but moon with movement. It's the moon with movement. It's moving in that more mentally balanced, healthy state, because you've probably had to work on that through your lifetime if you're tuned into this channel, but you're integrating that and moving forward with it. And Radho is that movement with all that integration, with this balance of manners, and it's tailing forwards here. It's just ever moving and expanding. And I have some socks with R's all over them that remind me of Radho. So those are the things that were coming forward today, and we're in a little bit of an extravaganza today. With that, I have brought malachite, and malachite is very much related to the heart. A beautiful stone. It was gifted to me by someone very special, and it's a beautiful crystal to have, especially relating to the heart and opening and strengthening the heart, as well as being quite a vulnerable stone as well itself, but it shows that strength and that vulnerability. I've also got a phantom quartz. Now, I didn't have a rose quartz with me, or a pink stone that would probably link to Lady Nada and higher heart opening, but the phantom quartz has this amazing thing where there's something coming through. There's a crystal within a crystal, and it gives a sense of that blooming. It says within you and within your clarity there is also colour, quite a beautiful element of blossoming in that stone. And it can talk spiritually. You know, we talk about phantom. Phantom can be the unknown or the unseen as it is, but it can be known to us. It can be seen to us. It's just a question of faith in the perspective of your lens. And with that, the higher vibrational energetic stone can be very angelic as well, with selenite. And also relates to the moon. I had a little look after I mentioned about Hecate in relation to this the other day, and obviously I've talked about Mani today as well. And I mentioned Diana, or Artemis in the Greek form, Diana in the Roman form. And Selene is also a goddess. It's almost that they can all link, and they link together related to the moon, and whereas Hecate is like the three-headed kind of goddess related to the moon. Together they form a kind of three-headed multiple goddess with Selene, Hecate and Artemis. I was thinking of the Greek names, so they're all together. Luna is she's called in the Roman, and I'm not sure what Hecate's Roman name is, but Diana's the Roman for Artemis. But they form together and they also kind of form the mother maiden crone understanding, and with the maiden being Artemis, and the mother being Selene, and the crone being Hecate, and representing different phases. So the waxing moon's the maiden moving forward of Artemis, and then the full moon is Selene, and the waning is Hecate. It's a lot of energy as well as I'm thinking of it, and it's a lot of kind of processing all this moon energy, but it's that understanding, and that relates to this blossoming and understanding. You know, it's not just in the sun that we shine, it's the moon is a reflection of that in our own internal being. And it's interesting to see the parallels that they're the same. I talk about the Chariot card. The Chariot is also related to the stars as well as the moon, so we only see the stars in the night sky, so the sun is our visible thing of that, and you know, our kind of half fire in us as well is the sun. But also the moon is like the universal waters, so fire kind of relates a lot to identity and how we understand that, but the water is how we share things and how we flow with things, and it's a beautiful combination when we can see both, and sometimes we focus one more than the other, and sometimes we see them together. It just talks about the flow, the drive and the flow of life. So without further ado, I'll look to see what messages Lady Nada has today. I will go to the Divine Masters and see... Oh, I'm speaking like that. Okay, so Divine Masters, I can see who is showing up with Lady Nada. Okay. So, Metatron and Sandalphon come up a few days ago as well. Sacred connection, synchronicity, divine connection, understanding lessons. This will speak to a divine partnership, an eternal soulmate, or twin flame if you want to call it, or soulmate relationship, that either you're in and is expanding, or is growing, or is solidifying, or is in separation and you are looking to reunite, or is ready to come into your door when the space is cleared, when your heart is expanded to facilitate this. Because the universe doesn't and it shouldn't give you more than you can handle. So if you're not ready for that divine union with another, then it's just a lesson to say that there's more healing and integration to do within yourself, and maybe that other isn't the one for you and there's somebody else better to come along, or maybe it is but it just needs time and integration, because anything that comes too soon in terms of alignment is not going to be its best form, and it will cause problems later down the line rather than at this moment, and that can affect the relationship in a sense of interest if it's further down the line than it is at the start. So you want to be as balanced as possible, and that's talking about the sacred connection, your connection with the divine, and then that door may be open for you. And also, as I've said, you could be in union with someone who is your life partner, let's say, without adding any more spiritual type labels to it, your life partner you may call it, and that you are still working through it. Like, part of that union is understanding that it's not like twin flames come together and that's it, or even like divine counterpart, somebody want to use that term. I think divine counterparts just mean how they are in higher realms. We're not in higher realms, but if you want to call it your divine counterpart, it still means that there will be some working around, and there's always working in an earthly human form. We never fully clear ego in the human form, or what we know as ego anyway, so you're always working together. It's just there's different points, and probably the way you want to see it is that all parts of that journey are the same. All parts of that journey are beautiful, in the not knowing or not having the person there, and the past relationships you've been in to get you there, the things you've missed out on to also get you there, and then the separation period you may have, or the working out periods you may have at the start, and then the joyous periods that you have, and those blissful moments, and the honeymoon periods that you have, and then hopefully the longevity of a lifetime together. All are different phases, all are like different phases of the moon. They're just different in what they bring, and that we're there to see them all the same, not so dualistically, not so as good and bad, or this is terrible, and this is not. I mean, it's nigh on impossible for a human not to kind of think in those ways, but you can learn to be more at peace with those phases, hopefully. Also with that is Melchizedek, divine knowledge, and that follows on from what I'm just saying, is like to have that divine knowledge, that higher consciousness knowledge, rather than what most of the people around you would be saying, that are not in a sense looking or seeking for that higher consciousness. And that's fine, everyone has their own life path, and they will have many life paths in different incarnations, but it's about your life path, and you are joining this channel looking for the divine knowledge and sacred connection, and that will help you along the journey, and talking about the perspective that you see things through will help you on this journey as well, and throughout your life and your lifetimes. And as you were saying, it's just all like in an eternal loop. Higher learning, commit to your vision through study, and that is both being drawn to something online and studying it, reading a book, and just experiencing it, because experience is study, experience is learning, as well as reading and thinking. You know, the body, the physical experience is learning, the seeing in the mind is learning, feeling with the heart is learning. And I'm trying to think of a word for this. I want to say feeling again, but the feeling is not so much. The experience through the soul, the understanding of the soul, there's not quite a word for it, just whatever comes through the soul is also part of this experience and journey. And at the bottom of the deck is Sodpet, cosmic power, unlimited potential, sacred mission, initiation, and all of this heart expansion and sacred connection and divine knowledge is all for you as much as possible, embodying that cosmic power and following your sacred mission. So, Time Traveler's Oracle. Place your bets on how long this video is going to be today. If you've ever been to weddings and you've done the game where how long's the speech going to be, we're in 15 minutes. So let's see what bets are being taken. I'm only joking, don't bet on it, just have a little guess. Okay, so the two cards that have come out today, 26 Magic, Glastonbury, Britain. Followed on from the message yesterday, and Lady Nada was saying, you know, believe and follow in your magic. She's got her eyes closed in here, and there's a belief and there's a kind of joy and an ecstasy and a grace in her heart expanding, and that is magic as well. It's like, you know, the heart of this chalice is magic, is light, and it's radiate that love. Love is one of the highest vibrations we know of, and that is saying radiate that love, that grace, that divine connection you have. And you know, this talks about the Holy Grail, and this is within you, the alchemy of it, like in the Temperance card. It's that alchemy within your own union. Like in anyways, it's talking about that magic you have. M's all over here. This is an R, but it's got that theme of that chalice, of that integration, and that can then talk to your partnerships with others, your partnerships with romantic colleagues. Interesting. Somebody that might be a message for. But your partnership with romantic others, with others who are colleagues, people that you work with, that might mix and flow together, as in your romantic partner might be a business partner and your business partners you may love. Let's get it too mixed up, but it talks about a flow, it talks about that alchemy. In the Thoth deck by Crowley, Temperance is called art, and it is the balancing of fire and water, and that talks about internally in yourself, and it talks about with others, and this can talk about collective as well, collective magical. And grounded, number 17. So it is always our aim and mission on Earth to ground. Uluru, Australia. And you could talk, you know, look at Australia as almost at the bottom of the world if you want. That's not really what it is, but you know, on the globes and the way it is, it's kind of like that. But it's that grounded, it's that core element that this is speaking to. And in the Kabbalah tree of life, you know, you've got the crown, which is the magic and beauty and everything like this, and then understanding and wisdom are 2 and 3, and that. But these are, you can't just stay on that, because there's a whole tree of life, right? And it's like a tree, and the tree is quite grounded, and it's saying that the foundation is down here. Number 9 in the Kabbalah tree is foundation, and number 10 is kingdom. And through all kind of religious teachings, obviously this is more Christian based, but this is throughout all religions and spirituality themes. We'll talk about kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of earth, your kingdom spouse, because kingdom, the concept is heaven on earth, and bringing and grounding that magic, that heaven on earth. And one of the biggest ways a human being can do this is to have an expanded heart. At the bottom of the deck is planning, and just under that is light, and just under that is vitality, and just under that is miracles, and just under that is protection, and just under that is breakthrough, and just under that is strength. I'll stop, but I mean, it's just like keep going and going and going. There's miracles, there's vitality, your light is your strength. And you may be planning it now, but this is everything that's under it is miraculous. So if you think about expanding your heart, that there's untold abundance in this world for you. Let's see what the ancestors have to say. A lot of energy coming through me now. It's sometimes there's not words for these things. Okay, so an interesting way that those cards came out. I'm going to do a little reverb here. So I'm going to start with this card and come back to it, because it's just saying what I was kind of trying to say. There's limitless possibility. Altar of Earth, which is the Ace of Pentacles. If you want to talk about grounded earthly material things and being as abundant and untold abundance, then this is the card. It's talking about heaven offering you these things and to ground them into earth. It's just prosperous and abundant and 4 hands. Who knew you had 4 hands? In some form you do. but it's just a blossoming and beauty, and look how rich the earth is for it. And your ancestors are guiding you to this and helping you with this. Through your sensitivity. Your sensitivity is a power. How it's used and how you view it is going to dictate how it is in the earth and what happens with that power. But your sensitivity is your power. You see things that others cannot see because they're too closed off. Their hearts are not expanded enough to see it. So use that sensitivity. Your ancestors are guiding you, and you will blossom and bloom. You know, within your heart and within your waters, and as your waters flow. Alone at isolation and introspection. So you have a light to shine, and this is maybe the path that's moving forward. This is the planning phase. This is the integration of, before that heart expands, it's cultivated. Before the rose blossoms, it's in bud. So before you bloom, you bud. And when you're in bud, and as you raise out the ground and you find enough space, then you bloom. It's a process, it takes time. But with this, and as you do bloom and such as a human being, you will explore. Root of Air, Page of Swords, talks about understanding and knowledge and exploring the world. 33, a number of ascended masters. So ascended masters are your ancestors, and they're helping you on this journey. And you grow stronger as you go. You grow stronger as you grow. Which is all leads you back in that infinite loop to limitless prosperity. I think I said possibility earlier, and possibility is one of the things, but then that becomes prosperity, or that is prosperity. And so there is limitless prosperity for you, there is limitless possibility for you. There are so many ways that this expanded heart can bring so much joy and beauty and abundance to earth that doesn't just necessarily relate to money, but it relates to all things of this realm. So we'll finish off with the crows. Who had 25 minutes? It's going to go over. Make myself laugh. Right. So, very British of me there. Right. All right, mate. Number 7, caching, has come out, I think, for either the 3rd day in a row or 3 days out of 4. Talks to, again, this process of planning. Talks to, again, of ordering things and things buried in the ground and things coming up to bloom. This is the process you've been through. You're working everything out as you go in this individual sense, and what's where and when it comes out when. Number 14, distance. 14 is the temperance card. Let's take a second for this one. I saw this yesterday. It didn't come out in the read, but I saw it in the pack. And it's talking about the distance that you need from others for this to come out. If you're in a crowded bed of roses, or if you're in a crowded canopy, then it's hard to get into that bloom, especially if you're more sensitive. So it's asking you to stand in your own ability. So there are people around you, and there's a town around you as well, but there's also this pathway, this sun, this natural kind of area, this forest. And if you're empathic normally, you will be connected to nature. It's seeing where your natural path is and having the distance from, like the city, having distance from the overly excessive egoic, excessive hyper-materialistic influences around you to see the woods from the trees, or just to see where the forest is and where the light is. And this is where your expanded heart can take you, is if you give the space and distance for your heart to expand. And with that comes upheaval. Let's not make any bones about it, and this is the joy of this deck, is it brings some shadow and it brings some tougher lessons, but it's for our own good and benefit, is that there is upheaval in it, but you have the strength and the resilience to go through those storms. It's quite a vulnerable stone sometimes, Malachite, but it's a beautiful expanded one, and it has a strength to it. And even through the cracks and through the clear quartz, you can see the way you are blossoming through. You're learning as you go, and there is upheaval, there is uprooting, as much as we try to ground like this poor tree, but there's still a resilience. You know, I used to record, I still record poems. I record some poems on Instagram, which I think is linked in there if you want to take a look. But there was one of my favourite trees at this little kind of bank, this like little riverside bank where all these birds were, especially oyster catchers. They're a wonderful bird. But this tree was kind of half over like this one. But the brilliant thing about this tree, and why it was one of my favourites, is that its range had increased. It was still there, it still stood firm, but the branches had branched out. So this tree was like, had a community and reached out to all others, and it was still there, still standing strong. So despite the upheaval, you can make the best, and you can adapt, and you can move forward, and you can expand. And it's hard to do beautiful and wonderful things in this world. At the bottom of the deck is memory. And with that, this has given me a much wider sense of cosmic memory, your memory of lifetimes and your memory of who you are. And as you expand your heart and your being, your soul will also remember as well. Wow. It's around about 25 minutes, it's clocking over. But thank you for being here, thank you for doing that. I wish you all the best with the expansion of your heart, because it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And if you face discomfort with it, if you face upheaval, know that is a strengthening. Know that is moving you forward, and you're being called to something greater. And every stage, every cycle of the moon is there for a different reason. So keep going with it, see it all the same, and just enjoy the journey and enjoy each phase, because you'll know in your heart and your soul, and you will expand in such knowledge that you are a light worker, a joyful, loving, graceful presence on this earth. You're a walking miracle. And I love you, and I believe in your growth and expansion always. Namaste.